How you doing? I'm Kevin O'Hara for alcoholmastery.com. Today's question is alcohol and your legacy. So what does alcohol bring to the table in terms of your life, right? What does alcohol do for your life beyond your own selfish instant gratification, right? It wasn't until after I stopped drinking alcohol that I realized how much I was leading a selfish life, right? Leading a very, selfish is a bad term. It's more of a very inward looking life, and not inward in a good way, as in you're trying to discover yourself or you're trying to make yourself into a better person. That's sort of my journey since I've stopped. But inward in the sense of that your perception of the outside world starts to get very dimmed and fogged. Your modus operandi tends to go more and more towards alcohol and towards what alcohol can give you. Alcohol at the end of the day, alcohol for celebrations, alcohol for this, alcohol for fucking that. And it just gets into a vicious circle. So it was one of those things that really I started to see that I had to do a lot of work on building the relationships that I had, right, to undo a lot of the damage that I'd caused. And again, I'm not talking about damage in a big way, like, that I've fucking gone out and beaten somebody up, or, I was doing bad stuff, but it's an accumulation of bad stuff, it's an accumulation of little things that chip away at your own integrity, your own sense of self-worth, and that in turn affects other people around you. It affects their opinion of you, So for me, it's all about, there's a famous quotation which says that what you leave behind is not what's engraved on your gravestone, it's what's woven into the lives of the people that are around you, right? And it's so true that, your immortality, people think that just because they have a kid, for instance, that they've left behind some of their genes. Well, fuck genes, it's a good thing, but what you leave behind you is what you've left, what you've taught other people around you, not just by, you can be a great teacher in terms of the verbal stuff, but what you've taught people by your actions, by your willingness to stick to your own principles and all that kind of thing. That's where the real beauty of, I think, when you start getting older and you start thinking about these things, and you have your children, and like me, I've got a grandchild now, and it's it's on the forefront of my mind. How is my granddaughter going to think about me in the future, right? As a person, how does my son think about me? And I know that's changed a lot since I've stopped drinking alcohol, right? So the question that you have to ask yourself is, how do you want to be viewed by other people? Do you give a fuck about how you're viewed by other people, for a start? One of the essential questions that sort of precludes this is, how do you think about yourself? Because if you don't think good about yourself, then how can you expect other people to think good about you? So maybe the question should be reversed. How do you think about yourself first? Work on that and how you think about yourself. One of the reasons I stopped drinking, like I've said over and over, was because I suddenly realized that I was being a bad father. I was being a bad role model to my son. So that made me feel really bad about myself. There's certain things you can think bad about yourself, and it will sort of lead you down a certain road of, not saying self-pity, but you can handle that kind of thing. But there's certain hot buttons, and my son is one of those hot buttons that you press that, and that's when it made me take an about turn. So one led to the other. How do others think about me? How do I think about myself? And like I say, what do you want to pass down to your children, to your grandchildren? I think family is the most important part. It's the most important element of my life anyway. And then I do care about what I'm doing in terms of alcohol mastery and trying to educate people in this sense, this scenario. But at the end of the day, you watching this video, if you don't change and you don't make these changes in your life, it's not going to affect me, you know. It's not going to affect me. At the end of the day, what does affect me is when I see my son, my granddaughter, my partner, you know, my brothers and sisters, the people that I know and I love, you know, and you know, the people I'm getting to know in the forums now. I mean, I love that. You know, these people they're becoming sort of interwoven into my own life, and you know, that's a different story. But anonymous people who are watching this, how can I care about what you say? You know, how can I care about what you do? I mean, at the end of the day, as the old saying goes, if you're not willing to do something for yourself, how can you expect other people to care about what you're doing, you know? If that makes any sense. Look, I'm going to end it there for today. Just, you know, take that question, what does alcohol do for your life, or yeah, your own selfish instant gratification beyond that, you know. Think about that from your own perspective. What is actually alcohol doing for you, apart from giving you that instant gratification? I'll finish it there. Take care of yourself. I'll speak to you next time. If you want to sign up for the Alcohol Mastery starter pack, there's a couple of books, and there's a few different DVDs that are a few different videos that I'll send you out over the course of a few weeks. Just come over and sign up. It's your email address and your first name, and that'll do. And I'll send it out to you. All right. Speak to you next time. Take care of yourself. Keep the alcohol out of your mouth. Stay safe. Onwards and upwards, eh? Take care. Bye bye now. And I do love you all, by the way. Take care.